Alright, good evening everybody. Name's Tony Johnson, and it is July the 17th at 10:15. I am getting ready to go to bed. I have surgery tomorrow. I'm getting the L4, L5 disc replaced. It was bulging, but now it's ruptured. I just want to give you a little brief background about me. For the past 20 years, I've been driving big trucks, unloading the trucks, beverage company, and now I am a truck driver for a major potato chip company. And was having about the past 3 years, I've off and on I'd have some back pain. It would cause me to not be able to stand up straight. I would have terrible muscle spasms. So severe that it would basically knock me to the floor, and I felt like I was having a convulsion. That's how severe it was. And I'd usually miss about 2 weeks of work, unpaid leave, and I knew that that would jeopardize my job if I continued to go out like that. And I knew that something was going to have to be done. But basically, my symptoms were a sharp pain in my lower back. I wasn't having any nerve pain at that, when all this started. It was more or less just a pain in the back. I would go to lift up something, I wasn't lifting right, I wasn't bending my knees, and by the way, I am 6'7", very tall, about 215 pounds, and I have to bend over a little bit further than most folks, and when I do come up, I don't use proper body mechanics to lift heavy items, so shame on me for that. But I am 38 years old, and I'm not as young as I used to be. So, long story short, I went to a neurosurgeon about 3 years ago just to get an opinion on what's going on with my back. And I had went previously before that to a chiropractor just to get an adjustment, just to see if it was something simple. Maybe I was just out of line, maybe I was out of adjustment. So the chiropractor worked with me and was doing some adjustments. One day he did an adjustment on me while my back was hurting very bad. I was unable to sit down, unable to stand up. I was just in extreme pain, and I told him I was. He knew I was. And went and had the adjustment done, and I had an uncontrollable urge to go use the bathroom. And went to the bathroom to do my business, and as soon as I hit the pot, I had this awful, terrible stabbing pain in my back like I've never had before. I was able to compose myself and get up off the toilet, and able to get to the door and notify the nurse that I was needing some assistance. And made it to the chiropractor made it to me. Him and his other chiropractor friend went and helped me to get onto a table, and made it to the table. And it seemed like the longer it was, the worse it got. I was just in so much pain. And basically my options were that my wife was going to have to come get me, or I was going to have to get out of there with an ambulance. I mean, it was just only two options, and I told him my wife was not able to come get me. And I told him, I said, just call the ambulance, because I need to find out why I'm hurting so bad. I really thought something was broken. So then the ambulance came and got me, put me in the ambulance, and they gave me some morphine. And that didn't touch it at all. I was in so much pain. Made it to the hospital and put me in a room. They did a MRI and they did an X-ray. Nothing broken, no fractures. They did the MRI, and basically the doctor said that I had a degenerative disc disease. And I said, no, something's wrong. Something is not right. I am in so much pain. So anyway, he sent me home with pain killers and muscle relaxers. Probably about 2 weeks later, I was back at work, doing great, and that just seemed to be what would happen. About every 6 months, I would go out with my back, and I would have those terrible muscle spasms, be out of work, couldn't stand up straight, just this terrible pain in my back. At that point, I wasn't having nerve damage down my leg. It was just isolated in my lower back. And then that leads us up to where we are now. I went to the neurosurgeon about 2 years ago and showed him the MRI from the hospital. And he basically said, you're going to need surgery. That's what it was. That's the only thing that was going to fix me. And I decided to wait. And what I did was continue to work, and as I would work, it would get worse and worse, and I would be out more frequently. And I didn't want to, like I said, jeopardize my job. So what I did was I contacted a neurosurgeon here in town where I live in Middle Georgia area, and probably one of the best in Middle Georgia, and just wanted to get a second opinion. And I was in pain when I saw him because I had went out on disability, because I was like, I need to get fixed, I need to get taken care of, I need to find out what's going on, because I don't want this to continue and I don't want to damage anything. So I went out on disability, and I contacted my neurosurgeon, and I said, let's get the ball rolling. What do we need to do? So they sent me for another MRI and another X-ray. And when we got the MRI back, the MRI showed that I had a bulging disc, L4, L5. Hadn't ruptured yet. It was just bulging. And what was happening was it was pressing on a nerve. So it limited me to bending over, it limited me to sitting, standing, anything I did, it was just hurting. So he wanted to do the steroid injections just to see if that would give me some relief, because he wasn't ready to put me into surgery yet. It just wasn't that bad. And had to wait about 4 weeks to get the steroid injections. Got the first 2 of those, and I don't even think I got any relief off that. To be honest with you, I'm looking back now, remembering I don't think I got any relief at all from the steroid injections. Maybe it works for some people, it didn't work for me. Then I was trying to, while I've been out of work, waiting between doctor's appointments, I would go to the gym here in town. I live about a block away from the gym, and I'd go and I'd get on the treadmill, and I've always been told walking's the best thing for a bad back. It builds those muscles. And I get on some of the weights, do light weights, nothing real heavy. And I just was feeling so good. Of course, I still knew my back was hurting. That's why I didn't overdo it at the gym. But I just felt like something just wasn't right. And Father's Day weekend of this year, I noticed that I was having this terrible pain going down my leg and in the hip. It's almost like pins and needles was going on in my hip. And in my groin. I was just having pain like I never had before. I was unable to sit in the car. I was unable to sit at the dinner table. I couldn't sit down anywhere, no way, no how. And when I tried to stand up, I couldn't stand up straight. It's like I was limited to how far I could stand up. I was just walking like a hunchback. And then the only relief I got was laying down flat on my back and just doing stretches. That's the only relief I got. Then I went to it was just so happened I was due for another checkup with my neurosurgeon or neuro doctor on that Tuesday after Father's Day, and he saw how much pain I was in, and he said that he was going to order a myelogram, because basically I guess that gives a more detailed picture of what's going on than the MRI did. Went to have the myelogram done, and I was nervous about it. Never had one before. Very risky procedure, but everybody was great at the hospital. Was well informed of what my risks were, but after I done it, I was glad I did it, because the MRI actually showed, the myelogram actually showed that the bulging disc had done ruptured, and the neuro doctor basically said it's like a steel belted radial tire blowing out, and when that blew out, it blew straight out the back. And then what happens is that disc is sitting on a nerve, constantly sitting on a nerve. So any position I was in, it was just causing havoc in my hips and my left leg, and occasionally it would go down my right leg, not too often, but occasionally. I wasn't sleeping good at night. I was just in so much pain, and I was like, y'all have got to do something. And when he called me with the results with the myelogram, he said there was basically 2 options. There was surgery or surgery. The first surgery was going in there and doing what they call the microdiscectomy, where they go in there and shave off the bad disc. And I think all that does is buy you a few years. Because he told me, he said, if we do that, you're going to come back and see me in 5 years, because that disc, you're taking away the structure of that disc and making it smaller. And he said, you're going to eventually come back. And he said the second option was just do a total disc replacement. Sure, I was nervous about it, but at the point I was like, I need to get some kind of relief. I am hurting so bad. I was ready for anything. We have exhausted all the measures: physical therapy, steroid injections, painkillers. Nothing did it. I was hurting that bad. I was just ready for something to happen. And I've heard a lot of success stories about people I work with and people we're friends with about back surgeries, how successful they have. Sure, I know there's a small percentage of people that it didn't work for, but my doctor basically told me that because of my height, because of my health, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm not a diabetic, don't have any health issues, don't have any heart issues, healthy 38-year-old man, very thin, I'm not a big guy, I would heal better and faster. So I had everything going for me. Everything was on my side as far as, the healing and the success of the surgery. He felt very confident in this procedure, felt like it was going to be a very successful procedure. So I agreed to it. I said, let's do it. Let's go ahead and I got to get back to work. I want to be able to provide for my family. I got to get back to work. And sitting at home, I've been at home right at 13 weeks now, short-term disability, and I just want to go back to work and do what I enjoy doing. So anyway, here we are, July the 13th, 17th. The surgery is scheduled for tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. I just wanted to do like a little personal diary to let anybody else know that may be having something like this. What led up to this. All the things, the measures I've taken to get to this point, and I'm not screaming surgery, I've got to have surgery. I'm like, that's the only option at this point. I mean, I just cannot go day to day. I mean, every day for 4 weeks I have been in pain, and just a terrible feeling that you can't stand up straight, and the only relief you get is laying down. What kind of life is that? So I'm nervous about the surgery, but I'm excited to find out what's on the other side of surgery. So with that said, here in just a little while at 7:30 in the morning, I'll be at the hospital, and I'm going to repost tomorrow. Lord willing, if I'm feeling good, I'd like to give you guys an update tomorrow after I wake up. From what I understand, after the surgery is going to be maybe 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Then I'll be moved into recovery, and then I'll be moved into a room. I'll probably be in the hospital 3 to 4 days. I think they just want to make sure that everything goes well, the incisions, healed up good, and I'm able to use the bathroom. I'm not real excited about a catheter. From what I understand, I'm told I'm going to be asleep when all that happens. But this is the first time in my life I've ever had surgery. So I'm very apprehensive about it, because it's kind of like going into the unknown. You just don't know how it's going to come out. So this really diary is for myself and for whoever else may be interested or may be coming soon to having the surgery done. This is my very first time recording something like this, so I've never done this before, so forgive me if I'm dragging, or forgive me if I'm not excited about it, because I'm not. But I am looking forward to I am looking forward to the healing. I'm looking forward to being able to stand up straight. I'm looking forward to excuse me, looking forward to just being able to walk again without being in any pain. And I'm not looking forward to the 2 weeks after this, because of the fact that there's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of healing. I mean, it's going to be very uncomfortable coming home, taking baths, just day-to-day activities. It's just going to be bad from what I've been told. I hope it's not, but I think it is. So anyway, I'm just going to make the best of it. But if you have any questions, I'm sure you can email me. You can just let me know what your thoughts are, how your success stories, see how well you're doing, and you can get back with me. And look forward to hearing everybody else's stories. And so many times you get on the internet and you hear nothing but bad things. Not a lot of people are posting positive things, and that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the positive stories. So anyway, you guys have a good night, and I hope to be back with you in less than 24 hours. I'll hopefully have some good news. All right, you guys have a good night.